Welcome to the 30th Jackie's Proof Animals Have Souls and Psychic show, produced through Passionate World Talk Radio, a subsidiary of Global Media Network. My website is JackieJonesHunt.com, and the Jackie is Jackie, joneshunt.com. For new listeners, I'm a psychical researcher, historian of spirituality, lecturer, decades-long vegetarian, for compassionate reasons, and author of 3 books, Proof Animals Have Souls, 500 plus celebrities go vegetarian, and Moses and Jesus the Shamans, mediums. The latter, Moses and Jesus the Shamans, among many other things, reveals the politically orientated biblical mistranslations condemning mediumship, when it was in fact an ancient tradition to consult seers, prophets, dream interpreters, judges and oracles to learn spiritual wisdom and predictive guidance. And this tradition goes on today. It was the Orthodox Church who had mistranslations placed in the Bible that are with us today that led to the 16th and 17th century witch hunts. Thousands of innocents were murdered, tortured, burnt at the stake, and it's left many people suspicious of mediumship even today. So whilst Moses and Jesus the Shamans is encyclopedic in information on mediumship and its global and ancient origins to present day, Proof Animals Have Souls, my other book, introduces the vegetarianism of the ancient world, including the vegetarianism of Jesus and James the Just, his brother, both since birth. James is Jesus' brother, who's practically written out of history by the Orthodox Church. Known for his piousness, James the vegetarian, James the Just, led Jesus' first followers from Jerusalem for many years after Jesus' crucifixion. And the third of my books is 500 plus celebrities go vegetarian. It's got 800 quotes from the beginning of time across the globe to present day, asking for compassion for animals, which make us more compassionate to each other. And that even includes from Pythagoras, the Buddha, to Paul McCartney. Now I'd like to introduce Rachel Neate, who's with us today. I'm pleased to welcome my guest from Manchester, UK. Rachel is a medium and president of the Oldham Spiritualist Church, near to Manchester, UK. Rachel offers private one-to-one sittings, spiritual healing, and demonstrates evidential mediumship in UK churches. Rachel previously worked as a high school reprographic designer, I'm not good with the translation here, and professional singer of soul and Motown. Rachel's email is Ray, R-A-Y-N-E-A-T-E, Rayneate @outlook.com, and she has a Facebook group called Spiritual Soul and Guidance, and TikTok is @Ratchen1979. So welcome, Rachel. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for welcoming me, Jackie. Nice to be here.
Pleasure. I've got lots of questions to ask you, and we've got about 12 minutes to do it in, so let's get started.
Oh, brilliant.
So just just go with the flow and give the listeners your thoughts. What are your earliest memories of mediumship, please?
Well, I can go back as early as around the age of 3, possibly a bit before 3, where I experienced some Victorian children that used to come and visit me in the bedroom when I would go to bed. And at that time, because obviously I was very young, I just took them for what they was, and I assumed it was just children that was with me when I went to bed, until I brought it to my mum's attention. And I said to her that I had these 2 children, and she asked me to describe how they looked. And as I described what they was wearing, my mum said, well, this can only possibly be children of like Victorian kind of times. She even went to the library and got some books and pointed out clothing of what Victorian people would wear. And I said, yeah, that's what they was wearing. And then after that, there was many more experiences, but that was the first one that I can remember. And also, I used to get achy legs, obviously, because as you're growing, you get the aches and pains.
Yes.
And I kind of thought it was their fault because they used to jump up and down on the bed. But they were just being playful, but I did get a little bit worried by it. And then things become more and more frequent then, and I become more aware. And I was able to see a lot more from that day onwards. I remember a lot more, yes.
Thank you. Now, clairvoyance for listeners is seeing, clairaudience is hearing, clairsentience is sensing, and claircognizance is knowing. So I'd just like to ask Rachel, which of these or all of these would you say works with you?
Well, Jackie, I work with all the clairs in different ways. Sometimes during readings, I will use one of the clairs more than the others, but quite often, generally throughout most of my readings, there's a touch of all the clairs that I will use. And spirits do that with me so that I can bring the best to the reading for the person I'm reading for.
Okay. Now, I'm in a room of 5 dogs, and next door is plenty of dogs as well. After all, it is proof animals have souls, so if the dogs contribute, just bear with them. So can you give any examples of seeing, sensing, hearing spirit animals?
Yeah, I can actually. I mean, throughout my journey, I've always seemed to have a lot of spirit cats around me, and I will walk into in my home, I will walk into a room, and instantly I will smell like cat wee. And I'll look and I'll start seeing cats in my, with my clairvoyance. I'll start seeing cats in the room.
Yeah.
And even when I look on the bed, there'd be an indentation on the bed where you can see there's like a curled up sort of room in the bed where the cat would be asleep. But recently I've had a really, really lovely touching experience. I went to Greece for a week by myself just to have that little bit of me time. And I have my own dog at home, which she's a Chihuahua, and she sleeps with me in my bed. So obviously she couldn't come to Greece with me, so I had to go by myself without her. And on my second night, I was starting to feel a little bit lost without her. And because obviously I work with spirit, my guides was so kind, and they brought to me lots of different spiritual dogs and cats and all different kinds of animals to me, and that they would let sleep in the bed with me. And these wasn't cats or dogs that I've ever had in my lifetime up to this present day. These were other people's animals that were from the spirit world, all different sized dogs and cats. And even at one point there was a rabbit in the apartment that was bobbing along the floor. So I was really blessed that I was able to have that experience and understand and feel that experience through the work that I do for spirit. So yes, there is definitely within animals a soul, and I through the work I've done, I understand that when we come to the earth plane and we choose our journey and our script, we also include people that we want to experience that with, and we also include animals, and every single animal that we have in our lifetime.
Yes.
We've asked for them to be a part of our journey. So we've chosen them and they've chosen us. And their soul is so important to have with our connection and our journey. Same like a soulmate. So a pet or an animal can be just like a soulmate. Some people will go through life not having a human soulmate, but yet they might have an animal soulmate instead.
Yes.
So I'm a great believer that they do have souls, and they are just as important. And this isn't just cats and dogs. This is all animals, all creatures. We're all part of God, which is the source, and He gives every soul that experience here. And we come as different experiences as souls. So whether we're a dog or a cat or a human, we've all got a soul. So yes, animals definitely do have souls.
Yes, well, they say in the Bible that Che Nefesh was we have souls and animals have souls. Because after all, human animals are two-legged animals. We are primates and we're biologically classified as mammals. And animals and birds have rapid eye movement sleep, exactly the same as us. They have dreaming sleep. So they also have nightmares as well, if you think of them in laboratories and slaughterhouses.
Exactly, yeah, they should.
But Che Nefesh was in the Bible saying that animals have souls and we have souls, but it was mistranslated that we have souls and they are mere creatures, and that is a definite mistranslation, which is in my book as well, Moses and Jesus the Shamans.
Yeah.
Well, we've been... Sorry?
I believe that we're all here as the human race. We should be protecting animals and making sure that they're treated well, not ignoring that they need our help when they're being mistreated. So because we're here to protect and help one another, and that includes animals.
Absolutely, and if we treat animals well, then how much better we'll treat each other.
Exactly. We should take a leaf out of their books, because animals don't judge and they love everybody. So we should all take a leaf out.
I know, they're so innocent and vulnerable.
Exactly.
I was once told by a medium that, excuse me, I have a bad throat today, that ancient souls work with me and my husband and help us to look after those who can't look after themselves, and we have 5 dogs.
Yeah.
Do you have a spiritual message you'd like to offer listeners?
A spiritual message? Well, I feel that we should all look after each other and help one another. I think that when we've been given this blessed gift to be here on the earth plane, experiencing our journey, whether it be a good feeling or a bad feeling, we should all be there to help and step in to help one another, and that also includes animals. Yes.
Thank you. That's nice. Thank you. So what motivates your work as a medium?
Again, I feel everybody deserves the feeling of being healed. And I feel with my work, whether I'm bringing a private reading to somebody with a message from their loved ones in spirit who've passed, or whether I'm doing a service in a church or a centre, or whether it just be that I'm doing some absent healing or Reiki work, I feel everybody should experience that feeling of healing. And when people come to me for private readings, they often say as they leave the house how lighter and how more at peace they feel. And that's because when I'm working with all the spiritual energies, they come round and they heal. And they can see that we need it, not just in the physical, but in the mind. And
yes.
The world that we're in at the moment and how things are and have been for a long time is quite negative and dense, the energy on the earth plane. So we find it hard to be positive. So when people come for that comfort and guidance and love, and they also come for evidence, so that they know that the loved ones are at peace in the spirit world. And when I bring that evidence, that will be a weight off certain people's minds, as they leave. And I often get messages after the readings where they'll say, I can't tell you how wonderful I feel after that reading. And they often come back for more readings, in the future. But yeah, it's something that I'm very passionate about, and you've got to give people that hope, and you've also got to give them that reassurance that their loved ones are at peace and they're just in another place, and that's all it is. Just
a breath away, really, a thought away. Do you know your guides? We've been chatting now for nearly 13 and a half minutes, so we've got about 15 minutes. So do you know your guides? If you could spend the last minute and a half just giving something on your guides.
Yeah, of course I can. Yes, I do know my guides up to now. I mean, my guides will change often. And so far, the guides that I work with, I have a Red Indian guide who comes around. He's quite strong and powerful. And he will help guide me in tricky situations that I'm going through, because I do have, levels of problems in my life. But I also have a guide which I've recently become acquainted to, and he is called White Flower. And he was trying to introduce himself to me for quite some time, and the penny's just dropped. I see this gentleman who has long, he's an Indian, but he has long hair. He doesn't wear a headdress though. And he wears like a long, I want to say like a dress kind of thing. And he...
like a tunic, yes. Yes,
like a tunic,
yes.
And he brings a lot to me, and he works very closely with me at this moment in time. Previously, I've had some other guides that I've worked with, including loved ones that have departed, that are connected to me and family. But yes, I've worked with many different guides, but right now the guides that I'm working with are the ones I've just spoken about, and they are with me for this part of the journey. We becoming more busier, and I need that strength and that guidance from them. Yes.
Well, thank you for that. That maybe this is something we could discuss in a future interview, to go into more depth on your guides and how many guides you have, and how many years you have each guide for, and what draws them to you. Was it a life that you shared with them in a previous incarnation, or are they drawn to you for a particular, they've got something in common with you? So these are things that we can explore in the future. But thank you very much, because we've run out of time. Thank you very much, Rachel, for coming along today. Thank you.